What is up, everybody? So this is the first time I'm doing one of these videos, and it's not 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I have a very special guest with me. Luke, you want to come say hi? This is my little man, Luke. You have any wisdom for everybody?
This is Teddy.
That's Teddy. Hi, Teddy.
Stay inside. Don't go shopping. Order everything on Amazon, DoorDash, or Postmates or Uber Eats.
We are not endorsed by these people, but that's a good idea.
No!
All right, so here we go. So this question is about reflecting, a function over, in this case, the y-axis, but these questions are basically either reflections over the x-axis or the y-axis. Now, my teachers in school made these questions so much harder than they actually are, so I'm going to simplify it for you. So here's what this question says. What is the equation of the graph of y equals 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 after it has been reflected over the y-axis? So there are only two scenarios, okay? It's being reflected over the y, or it's being reflected over the x, okay? So you have your original function, f of x, right? Now, here are your possible reflections, okay? So one is over the y-axis, like it is here. And here's the deal. If you're reflecting over the y, you change the x. If you're reflecting over the y, it's kind of like the opposite of what a lot of people think. You change the x. So again, if you're reflecting over the y, you change the x. So what happens is, if you had f of x, you change that, and now it becomes f of negative x because you change the x. Now your other solution, right, is if you're dealing with a reflection over the x-axis, okay? And if you are making a reflection of the x-axis, you change the whole function. You change the y, but most simply, all you do is if you had f of x, it becomes negative f of x, right? So bottom line is, it's the opposite of what you think. If you're changing the x, right, if you're reflecting over the y-axis, what happens? You change your x. If you're reflecting over the x-axis, what do? You change your y. It's the opposite of what you would think. So here, y equals 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 is being reflected over the y-axis. So what are we going to do? We are going to say f of x, because remember, y and f of x are essentially interchangeable. F of x equals 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. Now remember, we're reflecting over the y-axis, so what do? It becomes f of negative x. F of negative x. So what are we going to do here? F of negative x simply means just replace your x with a negative x, right? So then we have 2 times negative x squared plus 3 times negative x minus 5, right? So now what do? We can just solve this out. Negative x squared, and let's just put this in blue so it's a little darker. Negative x squared would be negative x times negative x, which would become positive x squared. It stays positive. 3 times negative x is just minus 3x, and then we have minus 5. And which answer choice is that? Answer choice C. 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. All right, y'all. So remember, with these translation questions, if you want to reflect over the x-axis, reflect over the y-axis, the main thing is, if you're reflecting over y, you change the x. If you're reflecting over x, you change the y. So thank you so much. Luke, you have any other words of wisdom for everybody before we close out for the day?
You guys, I don't know.
Be safe.
Really. Be safe.
Be healthy.
Complete.
Watch videos.
Yeah, watch.
Oh, yes. And if you all want, comment.
We can have a Fortnite session.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Peace.